What's up, friend?
Oh, what's up, Desert Queen?
Desert Queen. I just wanted to call you something nice because I do miss you a little bit.
Oh, no, you don't.
I do.
Do you remember we had a conversation on the phone, not on the podcast, and I said I only had one friend, and then I was like, it was you, and then I was like, oh no, I have two. My friend Scott, who I never talked to, is also my friend. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
The next day, Scott came over my house.
Nice. I thought you were going to say you died. I'm like, geez, then you only have one friend.
No, it was crazy. I was like, I literally was just talking to you. And he's like, were you talking about how cool it is that you have a friend that you never need to talk to and we're always still friends? And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I was
Literally,
talking
yes.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sound like you're in a hotel room.
I am. I'm in a Holiday Inn Express in Oakhurst, California.
Ooh.
My room today is actually really nice. It's really big. But because I went through Yosemite today and I want to go to Sequoia tomorrow. So like to stay in the middle, like the options are kind of limited. So without like going way out of town and coming back, you know?
You know what, though?
What?
You're in California.
I know, for the first time in my whole life.
For the first time, you made it.
I did. I drove here from Nevada, obviously. And when I crossed over the line, I'm like, dang. And that drive from Nevada to California, well, it's not the Vegas one. It's not the lower drive in that most people do, but I'm up higher. And boy, that drive is pretty. This trip is going by really fast. I'm on day 11 of my road trip. It's just like a whirlwind. All I do is like drive and sleep and eat and drive and sleep and eat and drive and sleep and eat and repeat forever.
It's about to slow down a little bit when I get there.
I know. I just need some slow days, bro. I'm like loading in and out of hotels every night with all of my shit. And just like a lot of the small towns I stop in don't have enough fucking food to eat. I haven't been eating enough. I haven't been taking care of myself. So being in one spot for a few days will be good.
Yeah, and be able to just kind of laze around and slow roll to cool places and not go to places if we don't want to and explore and discover new places.
Yes. I know, and it's already feels so much better. Like right when like I was in Yosemite all day, and almost every time I got on my car, I'm like, oh, I don't want to die right now. Like weird. Like ever since I was in South Dakota, Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, everywhere I've stopped has been 100 fucking degrees. Not even kidding. But it feels like a million. And you get out of your car and you're like sick and you're sweating. And then like here, like a couple times today, I looked at my dash and it was like one of the times it said 67. I'm like, this is like winter compared to what I've been in.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that when you get to more southern.
I know. I'm really excited to just not be like having like the spins every day.
I'm going to stop you at the one store on in downtown Hollywood and get you like a Panama Jack hat that has like an Oscar award on it.
Nice. I have a hat with me. I have a wide brim hat with me.
There's this funny store on the strip that like sells like little small Oscar statues and like it's so funny. So it's such
Can you personalize them?
No, nothing that cool.
That would be sick if they had it. You know how you get like bowling trophies done and they do it right there? That'd be sick if we could get an Oscar and put Toad on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, have you been doing anything? Do you want me to just you tell me stuff and then I will jump into the last week of my life because it's a lot.
I have just been preparing for my trip. Last Friday, realized I had a tooth infection.
Ugh, that sucks.
Immediately called to get antibiotics for it. You can imagine how that went.
Yeah, because guys don't know how to take care of themselves and they don't want to do anything.
I mean, I did it and it was fine, but the thing that made me mad was I went online, found the doctor, got the doctor to call the prescription in to the CVS. The CVS I'm set up so they'll text me when it's ready. Mm-hmm. And so they texted me at 8 o'clock and then I went there and the pharmacy closes at 8.
Where?
Not the 24-hour one, obviously.
Yeah, mistakes were made.
So I had to wait till the next day.
That sucked.
It sucked. That night was not great. But everything's fine now, and I'm a happy camper, and I'm talking to my best bud, and I know that you're with Toad, and you're in California, and now you can tell me your stuff, I guess. I'm all done.
Okay. You've been doing a lot. I did briefly before I get into my trip shit. We didn't last week when we recorded, like the next day was the UFO hearings, the government UFO hearings. So we haven't talked about it all. You did a Patreon podcast with the web crawlers, and I put it in our Patreon too. So our Patreons have seen it. And I didn't get a chance to watch it yet because I've been places that have no fucking signal, so I can't watch anything. But
And in that web crawlers Patreon only episode, Allie Siegel refers to me as an angel.
I saw that in your Instagram story. I'll have to see why she would say that.
It was because of that story I told where the guy thought that I was a guardian angel. You know that story?
I don't remember.
Real quick, I was doing a radio show about people who had angelic encounters.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy called in and said one time he was driving back from Toledo with his friends and their car broke down. They had a flat tire. And this angel, like in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, walks down the embankment with a full-size jacked up their car, changed their tire, and then said, "Have a good night," and disappeared into the darkness. And he said, "Do you think it was an angel?" And I said, "No, because that was me." Strangely, he had called into the show, and many years earlier, I was coming back from a lecture, and I saw them broke down with a flat tire, and since I had a minivan, I had a full-size jack in the minivan, and I was in my suit and hat, and I changed their tire, and then Allie Siegel said, maybe when you're doing selfless acts and not thinking about it, you kind of are an angel, you know, in the kind of consciousness of the universe. You're just doing something selfless and good for no real reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're pretty much an angel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take it.
Yeah, that is a crazy story. I do remember that. It's just like me and you both have a lot of fucking stories, and it's like hard to remember them all. It's hard to remember my own, let alone catalog all of yours too.
I know.
All right, but anyway, the UFO, I heard they started the episode of Bimbo News today and said that you crushed their soul basically about all about all the UFO shit, which I knew you would do. That's why I was supposed to be on it too, but I was driving and it didn't work out. So I was going to be the like hopeful person on their side, and you were going to be the soul crusher. So they were just alone to be crushed alone.
Yes, I do not mean to crush. I just mean to inform.
I know, but people are still allowed to have a little bit of like, what if?
For a reason, they should have a what if. But like this hearing wasn't the reason.
Yeah. I didn't watch all of it. I remember it was on one of these mornings when I got up in a fucking hotel in the middle of nowhere, and I put it on while I was getting ready, and I saw like I would say probably, how long was it total?
2 hours.
Okay, yeah, I probably saw like the last hour. And like obviously the most interesting part was where that lady asked, do we have like bodies? And the guy said, yeah.
See, that's why I crushed their dreams.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
So the woman asking the question, she said, to your knowledge, do we have recovered extraterrestrial craft? And he responded, I can't talk about that. So that's not a yes or a no. It's just I'm not saying anything. So there's so there's no answer to that.
Okay.
Then she immediately followed up by said, do we have pilots of those craft?
Yeah.
And he said, there were biologics recovered. And then she said, do we have extraterrestrial non-human biologics? And he said, we recovered non-human biologics.
Yeah, so what the fuck is that?
Yeah, so the first question was, do we have extraterrestrial craft? And he didn't answer it. Then she said, do we have pilots? And he said, we have biologics. Then she said, extraterrestrial biologics? And he said, non-human biologics. Now, biologics means anything that has lived. From a germ.
You think they sent a UFO here with a houseplant in it?
No. What I'm saying is, he never answered if we have a craft.
Right.
He just said that somewhere we have non-human material that was from somewhere. The majority of life on this planet is non-human biologics. The word biologics is mostly used in medicine to mean germs and viruses and bacteria. So if a satellite fell down out of space, a military satellite, and it crashed into the desert, and it had some worms on it, I could technically say we have non-human biologics on some recovered material.
I kind of think you're reaching, if we're being honest.
No, because if you look at the way that they set things up, what you remember, and you just like kind of proved this, that interaction all happened in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it did.
Right? She said pilots, extraterrestrials, outer space, non-human. That's the stuff that you remember. You don't remember that he didn't answer the first question even at all. I can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then when she asks about pilots, he doesn't answer, yes, we have pilots of the craft, which he could have said if they were. He said biologics. And then she says extraterrestrial, and he says non-human.
Yeah, but
and then
why would he even... Okay, go ahead.
You remember outer space, extraterrestrial, pilots, spacecraft, and then him answering yes to some of those questions, or seeming to answer yes to some of those questions. But he's pussyfooting around the actual answers. If I asked you right now, if you knew that we had extraterrestrials, and I said, do we have extraterrestrial pilots of those crafts? And you knew that we had them, you would say, yeah, extraterrestrials. That's what I'm talking about. He specifically went out of his way to use a word that is confusing, knowing that other people would have heard her words before him.
Okay, two things. I hear what you're saying, but two things. One, why the fuck would he even bother admitting to anything if it wasn't anything? He would just be like, no, we don't have what you think you're fucking talking about. That's the first thing. And then two, don't you think that they would be using these, like, they're not gonna say fucking aliens. So don't you think they're saying these like roundabout words so that people don't panic?
They're using roundabout words so they don't have to actually use words that people understand. And they're not doing it to hide anything. They're, except for the fact that they don't have anything. It's all in the answering of the questions. You and I have had this conversation before. Like, I designed ads for Boeing Lockheed Martin when I worked for Our Magazine, who's a military defense contractor. Without lying under oath to Congress, I could say I was a contract agent for a military defense industry. Like, I could say that without lying. You have to figure out, what are they doing and why are they saying what they're saying? Like, if she's using the word extraterrestrial, why doesn't he use the word extraterrestrial?
I don't know.
Because it's not extraterrestrial.
So, okay, I hear everything you're saying. And I still think people are going to be like, well, maybe we have something. Maybe we do. But anyway.
Maybe we do. I don't know.
Right. But like, at this juncture, what the fuck would literally need to happen for you to believe that we have stuff? Like, when would you go from all this is bullshit to, okay, maybe I'm warming up to it a little bit?
First of all, I am warmed up to it. I do think that there is.
You don't
somewhere.
sound like it on any time you ever talk about it, ever.
I think that there's probably aliens. I think that there's flying saucers. And I think that hundreds of thousands of people all over the world see things like that every year. And I think that people have interacted probably with extraterrestrials and aliens. 100%, I think probably yes. But the way that it's presented through the government and their witnesses is a way for them to control the narrative. They don't bring anybody that's talked to aliens in front of Congress. They bring a pilot, two military pilots who have each once seen something weird in the sky. And their third witness, their star witness, admitted he's never seen anything. If you're going to have a UFO conference hearing, bring some people who have seen some fucking UFOs.
True.
But they want to control the narrative because I really think their end game is, whether or not the earth is on fire right now. The conversation over the past few decades or so has been about decreasing the military budget. And this is a great way to pump up the military budget. Oh, there's shit fucking coming at us from, we don't know what it is or where it's from. It could be hostile, it could be foreign, it could be alien. We need to put more money into the military.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of figured that's what was going on, but it would be nice if they gave us something. Like, here's a finger, here's an arm. Like, please show me something.
I think that's why I said, I really think that it's probably happening all the time. I think that's why we need to rely on each other and not the government and the military for our information.
And like most other things that have to do with humans surviving this planet.
Yeah, the government and the military, I mean, I'm hard pressed to find a really good job they've done with the stuff that they're in control of.
I know, right? Yeah. I know. Agreed.
And they're not the most honest people in the whole world.
Well, that's so funny too, because after they aired that shit, and then you go on Twitter and it's like there's a million memes going, well, cool, none of us can pay our bills or have food, and Italy's on fire and all of this shit, and everybody's fucking whatever, and everything's unequal and everybody's miserable. But hey, okay, well, like, nobody's even paying attention to your stupid hearing because everybody's miserable.
I went to Gus's the night after the hearing, and Wednesday night, so maybe, I don't know, 15 people in there. I specifically went to every single person and asked them about the hearing. I was the only one that knew that there was a UFO hearing.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but
no, the majority of Americans don't care about this.
Yeah.
They're trying to like feed themselves, and they're trying to be their realist self, and like people are going through actual big problems.
Yeah. 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 Most people wouldn't even care if one landed right now. They'd be like, and
Yeah, and the other thing is, I've on Twitter, like some people were saying, like, yeah, but if we had the alien technology and we knew the aliens were real, like we could build a better planet. Motherfucker, we can build a better planet right now. We don't need the fucking aliens.
yeah, nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, good talk.
Anyway, yes, there's flying saucers. If I thought there were no flying saucers and no aliens, I wouldn't have done this for 33 years.
I know. I know. That's not what I meant. Really, I didn't. I didn't mean to say that you don't believe in them at all. You believe like experiencers for sure and sightings for sure. What I meant was every time you've spoken about the government having shit or the government involvement, you don't believe a goddamn word they're saying. That's what I meant to say.
100%.
Yes, yes, but yeah, obviously we're on the side of wonder and believing the people.
Yeah. And I have a long history of, I mean, I started my whole career with the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
Kennedy assassination is all obfuscation and cover up and lying.
literally.
And that's a big fucking deal. It's the assassination of an American president.
Right.
And so what I learned early on was if you want information, you need to seek it out yourself and not just eat the spoon that's shoved into your mouth from the government.
Totes.
All right, tell me all your fascinating stories.
Okay. I'm gonna try. I feel like I'm gonna go a little bit in order because last time I talked to you, I was about to go to the fights. So I went to the fights in Salt Lake City. It was fucking sick. I got to see a lot of my friends, which was good. But everyone who I wanted to see, I did see. So that was good.
Did anyone get to see Toad?
Yes. The night before the fights, I went out and I was with a friend of mine at the Fighter Hotel. And so a bunch of people got to say hi to him and some Twitter friends and stuff got to say hi to him. Yeah. So the fights were sick. The arena was kind of small. So it felt really intimate, kind of. And it was so fucking loud. And every single fight ended in a crazy fashion. The main event was crazy. There were so many knockouts. It was nuts. It was really nuts. It was one of the best cards I've ever been to, ever. So it was that. But then I was telling you too, that night that I told you I was hanging out at the Fighter Hotel. So then my one friend went to sleep, and then I went to meet up with another friend, and I said, I have the dog with me. Wherever you are, is it loud? And he was like, no. Or he said, kinda. And I was like, okay. I assumed it was a bar, and it was called Area 51. So I was like, oh, this is my whole shit. Great. So I thought it was going to be like some divey little alien bar. Great. I get there. Listen, it was a full scale fucking goth nightclub. It was so loud. It was so loud and smoky, and everybody, like, granted, if I didn't have the dog with me, this would be like my new favorite bar in the world. It reminded me, if you guys have ever been to the Exit in Chicago, it reminded me of the Exit a lot. I guess there was like bondage shit upstairs. Everybody in there was like a punk rock or a goth person. There was a lot of trans people there. It was like crazy. Everybody was like full on, like looking just all different. It was sick as fuck, but it was so fucking loud. And I had the dog there. Oh, they had this patio. So we go out on the patio and it was just like a nightmare. I'm like, I have never brought Toad to a worse place ever. It's a wonder that he was just like rolling just fine the next day and whatever, but it was nuts. And then you had said that you had a weird dream. Didn't you say you had a dream that I went to a club?
Yeah, I had a dream that you went to a club and you were passing out cocaine to people, and there was a machete fight at one part in the dream. You were in a machete fight, and
None of that happened, but I did inadvertently go to a club that I didn't want to go to. Bro, it was bad. It was like filthy. It was smoky. It was bad.
I think I had that dream because you had said that you were going to go out, and then that night I watched the movie Casino.
Yeah. But yeah, the fights were sick. I ended up meeting a lot of my favorite fighters. I ended up meeting Tony Ferguson. I met Derek Lewis. And I ended up running into, like, one of my favorite fighters that got me into modern MMA is Uriah Faber. And I ran into him in the lobby at the Fighter Hotel and I made a beeline, and I was such a geek. Like, you guys don't know, I know this is pointless to a lot of people listening, but there was old school UFC and MMA where like you could literally snap a guy's arm in the ring. Like, there was no rules. It was crazy. And there was different fighters then. So this is modern MMA. MMA that I'm like a fan of. And the person who got me into modern MMA was Uriah Faber. And I've always pictured like if I ever met him, I would tell him that and just be a geek. And it happened exactly like I thought it would. I was like, you got me into modern MMA. I saw you fight at the bar. I like brought up this specific fight that like got me into it, where he ended up breaking both of his fucking hands in the fight, and he finished the fight with just fighting with his elbows. And I'm like, I'm such a big fan, blah blah blah. And he's like, thank you for the support. And he like gave me a hug and he took a picture with me. And then I walked around away. I literally almost started crying. I was like shaking. I was such a geek. I tried to play it cool, but that was a big deal for me. But yeah, so fights were sick. Toad had a babysitter while I went to the fights from rover.com, and I had a nice girl come over and sit with him at the Airbnb, and he did really good. So that was fights. That was, I'm sure there's a lot more I could say, but I'm fucking exhausted. So anyway, so then I continued on into Tonopah, Nevada, and I stayed at the Mizpah Hotel, which is, it's been voted the most haunted hotel in the country, but like they vote for a different one every year, I'm sure. But anyway, it's usually on the short list of most haunted hotels in the country, and it's very pet friendly. And then they have a logbook in the lobby of, you know, if you have a paranormal occurrence during your stay, you can write it in the lobby. And there was like a lot of, and some people have like mailed theirs in. So there was some with like pictures, and the bartender there, I got to bring the dog down to the bar. Like they let you bring the dog, and there was other dogs at the bar too. And the lobby looks like the Titanic. Like it's so fucking fancy. And I'm sitting in this like weird haunted Western hotel bar with my dog.
And you're just a sweat monster.
I know. Fuck. So the bartender lady, she's been there for 3.5 years, and she told me so many fucking ghost stories. She's had so many things happen, and I was trying to tell her too, I'm like, me, you know, and my friends and wherever, we've been to so many haunted locations, and like those things are few and far between. And she is like, she's seen full body apparitions. She's been brushed up against behind the bar. She said for like a couple weeks they shut down to do renovations on the building, and like she's like, we would be up on a ladder, and something would like pull down on our pockets. Like you would feel fingers in your pockets, and they would try and pull you off the ladder. And then she said there was other times where like you'll bang into something that's not there, like as if you were going to bang into like a person, but there's nobody there, and like people will witness other people bang into nothing. So I could have listened to her talk all night. It was sick. And then she too, they give you like full run of the place. Like the bar closed at 9, and then she's like, you can go to any floor you want. She's like, there's a conference room on floor 3. You can go sit in the conference room and do investigation, whatever you want to do. And then every floor had like a sitting area right when you got off the elevator that had like a fancy old couch and a chair. So the most haunted floor was floor 5, and it's like room 502 through like 504, and they have like a plaque up there about the lady in red on the wall. So we're sitting like by the elevator on floor 5, and I'm like, it's really fucking quiet. I'm just like looking down, and it's scary. Like you're a lot of places in this hotel, you'll be standing by yourself and you feel fucking scared. And it's like very dark. I don't know. So anyway, so we're sitting in this sitting area, and I hear like the beginning of like what's going to be somebody getting off the fucking elevator, and the door opens and nobody got out. Like it opened right in front of me and Toad, and he's looking at it waiting for somebody to get out. And I'm like, that was weird. So I don't know if that was like the lady in red getting off the elevator, coming to say hi, but that happened. But other than that, like nothing really happened. But yeah, it's very fancy, very cozy. I got a lot of good pictures.
I find when I'm traveling, if I stay at a haunted place, like obviously you had something happen at that hotel in
the Great Southern Columbus.
Yeah. But usually when I travel, my mind is too hyper focused on travel to have like any good weird experiences.
Mine usually too, for sure. Or I'm just exhausted. And then people are always like, oh, something woke me up, or something talked, or something pulled on the bed sheets. I'm like, I would not fucking notice because I'm literally dead right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then during that stay, like the Clown Motel, the World Famous Clown Motel is right down the street. So I went down there to see it. And honestly, it wasn't the pictures I've seen and like video. I thought it was going to be a dump. I thought it was going to be so sketchy. And it's actually not that bad. And the rooms are not that bad either. But I'm like terrified of clowns. So I wasn't about to stay there. But I did get some video for our Patreon video. But anyway, so I'm outside of the fucking hotel. And this guy walks up to me with a dog. And they're like saying, the dogs are saying hi. So then he's like, do you want to see one of the rooms? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. So I like a peek into one of his rooms, into the room that he was in. That's how I like knew that they didn't look that bad. But anyway, so he's like, I have this paranormal video I made. Can I DM it to you? I'm like, fine. So I give him our podcast Instagram, and he looks at the fucking bio and he goes, Jessica Napick and John Tenney. He goes, you know John Tenney? I'm like, yes, listen. And He starts to tell me how he knows you. And I'm just gonna say it all. And you whatever you want to cut out of here, you can. But anyway, so he says he's the fucking guy that got you hooked up with the gigs at O'Mara's. And his name is
Jesus Christ.
You can bleep it if you want.
No, you went all the way to the clown
Yes.
museum and fucking was there.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
literally
Yes.
insane.
I know, I know, I know. Cause like, okay, while we were talking, I kind of missed the part. While we were talking, he's like, "Where have you been? Where did you come from?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Michigan." And he's like, "Oh, I'm from Southfield." I'm like, "That's so fucking weird." And then he starts talking about that, and he's like, "I don't know though." He's like, I feel like we kind of had a falling out, so I don't know if we're friends." And I'm like, even if you were, you wouldn't know, because Tenney doesn't fucking answer anything. So, but the vibe I was getting, I literally could not tell. He was being, I don't know. The vibe that I got was that you like didn't like him. So I didn't know. And then he's like, "I'm gonna come down to the Mizpah later and drink with you." And then I didn't end up going downstairs the second night, but I did see him walk into the hotel, and I had a lot of stuff to do. I posted to our Patreon. I had to edit photos and send them to my needle sponsor, my tattooing shit. I had a lot of shit to do. I'm like, I can't just sit down in the bar and talk to this guy who knows Tenney. So yeah, so I ran into that guy at the Clown Hotel. Of all the people, everywhere I go, there's been stuff about you this whole trip. But anyway, listen, I don't know if this is tea. And again, you can cut it out if you want to. But he said, this is what he told me. He said, okay, he said he used to have a comedy show at O'Mara's or some fucking shit or some open, whatever the fuck. So then he decided,
Wait. First of all,
yeah.
the reason that I would get my gigs at Omara's is because Todd, who booked me there, his dad used to own Club Bart. Remember Club Bart in Ferndale?
Yeah, he brought up Club Bart too. Yeah.
Yeah. Todd's dad ran Club Bart, and his family also owned Omara's. So that's how I got Omar's gig. Did not get me Omar's gig.
Listen, this is how he told it to me. And I'm sure this is ancient fucking history. But anyway, he said that he had this fucking set time at Amaro's, right? And he would make $75 and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so he decided he didn't want to do the gig anymore, but he didn't want to lose the window of or the night or whatever. So he offered it to you to do your lectures or your comedy or whatever. But he said, this is what he said. He goes, I would let Tenney do the time and I would give Tenney $25 and I would keep the 50. And then I don't remember what he said. I don't remember if he said either you found out or he ended up telling you. And then he's like, and then we didn't really talk anymore. And in my head, I was like, well, yeah, I wouldn't fucking talk to you either. What kind of friend is that? So that's why I like curved him. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, everything you're saying makes you sound like a sketch ball. And if Tenney's not friends with you anymore, then maybe that's why.
I was wondering why he texted me a couple days ago.
Yeah, he followed our Instagram and he has DM'd me and I haven't opened them because I'm like, I don't want to act like BFF with this guy if Tenney fucking hates him.
I don't hate. He fucked me out of money.
Yeah.
I overlooked it. I built his website for free. I shot a music video for him for free.
It's not crazy. Like literally the only person I spoke to when I got out of my car was that guy.
Insane.
I know. I've been waiting to tell you. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere.
All right, keep going with your stories.
Okay. So after the Clown Hotel, what the fuck? I went back to the Mizpah, blah, blah, blah. So then the next day, yeah, that's why I stayed another day at the Mizpah because I wanted to go do the desert shit. So that's when I went and found the Paste Eater's grave. There's like for you guys who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, there's a famous road trip bucket list, whatever the fuck. I don't even know. It's barely famous. It's famous to me and weirdos who follow weird travel pages. Anyway, there's this grave in the middle of absolute nowhere that says unknown man died from eating library paste in 1908. And most of the things that I find online are fairly easy to get to. Maybe they'll be time consuming, but you won't die. So I go see this grave, and you know how fucking stubborn I am. So I drive into goddamn nowhere. I drive off the road just into nothing. I was trying to I think I was telling Katie, I was like, there's roads and then there's dirt roads and then there's what the fuck I was on. Yeah. It was not funny. It was not fun. So the half of the part that got me out to the graveyard was already bad enough, but I finally got there, got pictures, got video for the Patreon video, whatever. The rest of the fucking road to get me out of where I was it was the worst shit I've ever been on in my life. I was driving up and down fucking mountains with no road. on rocks. I'm telling you, and not just rocks. I'm talking about like melon-sized fucking giant boulders. And I'm like, is my tire even gonna go over this? There was one, and they were like vertical fucking drops and vertical like go up again. And there was this part too where there was like a dip that was so deep, and then there was a random, I don't even know how this is possible, but in the fucking desert, there was half of a broken off fucking like, it looked like a Mario Brothers like pipe like sticking up, and I had to fucking drive over it. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And while all this is fucking happening, I have one notch of gas left, and I'm off-roading in a car that's very tiny, not built for this. But like, I had enough gas at the beginning of this, but everything was so strenuous and like had to go up and down and over rocks. It was burning all of my fucking gas. And there was one part I hit a rock so hard and it dragged under my car, and I really thought I blew a tire. And I'm like, firstly, how the fuck am I going to direct somebody to out here? How would they get out here? How would I explain? I didn't even know if I'm allowed to be out there. Like, it doesn't say I'm not, but that doesn't mean anything. They could just be like, oh, you're trespassing like crazy. Now you're going to jail. But anyway, I fucking got back to the road. I've never been so happy. This was like 10 miles of driving on boulders in my fucking car. It was so, and Toad is just like jostling around. He looked stoked. I'm like, you have a really good attitude about what's going on right now, because I am ready to barf. It was so fucking scary. And that's my other thought was like, if Tenney was in the car right now, he'd be like, you are such a fucking asshole. You would have been like legitimately mad that I got us into.
I'm mad at you now, and I wasn't even there.
It was so bad. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Honestly, it was really stupid, but I got my picture and everybody loves it, so it's fine. But anyway, so then after that too, my only two stops on that afternoon were I wanted to go to this hot spring. What was the other thing? I don't remember. No, maybe the hot spring was the only other thing. But anyway, between the grave and the hot spring was a crazy long road, and there was so many wild horses on it, and they were so fucking pretty. And Toady got to see the wild horses out the window, and I got a bunch of pics. And then I got to the hot spring. First of all, it was so freaking hot I couldn't even get in it, so I didn't. I got in it up to my knees, but I didn't like sit in it because it was. I remember reading online that they said it was like 108 degrees, and I'm like, is that hot? And then it was like boiling. So I didn't get in it. But listen, when I got there, there was a guy in it, and he was old and he was naked. And then he had to get out because he assumed I wanted to go in it. So I'm like, well, this is awkward. This is awkward. People do a lot of crazy things out here. They go in hot springs naked. You know what else has been happening a lot is in Wyoming, Utah, Nevada. I keep seeing people driving with dogs in the fucking back of their truck, and I want to kill everybody.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, they'll have like a pack of dogs. Not some people will have like one, but some people will have like 4. I'm like, this is so inappropriate, and I hate everybody. But anyway, so yeah, I saw a naked guy in a fucking hot spring. I almost died. What else? And then today, rounding out, I'm almost done. Today I went through Yosemite. Listen, Yosemite is my new top national park I've ever been to, and national forest. Because some of them that I've been to are just national forests and they're not national parks.
Did you see Sam?
Who's Sam?
Yosemite Sam?
Oh, come on, Tenney. Listen, this is one of the most magical places I've ever been to in my life. I was not prepared. Y'all know that I went to Yellowstone on the way out here. Yellowstone sucks. Honestly, now I swear right now, that'll be my like national park shirt. I'll make an official looking national park shirt and it'll just say Yellowstone sucks. But anyway, after seeing that one and then seeing this one, Yosemite is like not even Earth. It looks like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's magical. It's got I've never seen so many varieties of plants and trees in one place in my life. Everything that exists under the sun is in Yosemite. It's fucking crazy. The mountains are so big. It has such a vibe. And this is the only thing that I wanted to tell you to like compare it to. You know how when we were at Lilydale just felt like fucking magic?
Mm-hmm.
Yosemite feels like magic. It feels like a fairy is going to fly out. It feels like a unicorn is going to walk into the road. It's so palpable. Like it's magical. Like stuff fucking happens there and you can feel it.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It was nuts. I've never felt, I'm like, I could live in here forever. It just felt so old. It felt like knowledge. It felt like history. It was crazy. You're going to feel it.
I got that way in Hawaii one time.
Yes. Yeah. It just feels like the beginning of the fucking planet or some shit.
Yeah, like I walked up to like a fern that was bigger than me, and I was like,
Yes.
hey, buddy,
I know.
why is everything so big and beautiful here?
I know. I got out one of the parts on the Patreon video. The pine cones there were literally as big as my fucking head. So I got out and I put on the video. I'm like, you guys have to look at this fucking pine cone. Like Like, exactly like that, the fern thing, exactly. Everything's just so big and it feels like, I swear, like a T-Rex could have walked out and I'd been like, all right, like that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It was, I've never seen, there's so many waterfalls and you think you've seen the best thing and then you come around a corner and like the trees will part. And there was numerous times where I literally went like like with jaw drop, like guffaw out loud at just the dumbness of how fucking pretty it was there. I've never seen nobody. There can't be a prettier place in America than Yosemite, and I'm not even kidding. There's no. That's the tippy top of America. If y'all do any road tripping, any traveling, any national parks, just don't waste your fucking time on the other ones because Yosemite is the shit. It is. Okay, so then today was my most day. My I don't even know how to say it. I'm just stopping making sense now. But out of all the days, I gave the most Polaroids away today because there was a lot of different lookouts and viewing points, and there was a bunch of families that I got today and gave them Polaroids. And then there was a really cute moment where there was this like turn off, and it was in front of like a giant, like 1,000 foot fucking waterfall, and there was these like bros, but they were like cool. They were like club bros, but they were like in Yosemite. They were so cute. They had on fancy clothes. They all had on sunglasses. They all smelled like cologne. They were like so fucking funny. And they were all taking like individual pictures and videos. I go, do you guys want a Polaroid? They're like, oh, yeah, we do. So I gave them a Polaroid and I was so stoked. They were so appreciative. Oh, but then this is the funniest part. The one guy who took it from me, he walks away and then he comes back and he goes, I'm not kidding you right now. I'm not kidding. He goes, do I have to take this to CVS or something? I go, no. I go, no, wait, it's coming. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, you have to take the thing I just put in your hand to CVS. No, you don't. It was so fucking cute. This is why I need to be doing what I'm doing so people know that there's.
So people know that there's 60-year-old technology.
Yes. Oh my God, it was so cute. But yeah, I got a couple different families, like families of four that were like,
You didn't get one of the naked guy?
first of all, no. But secondly, people, the two families that I got like on the one overlook, they were like scared. It's crazy how not trusting people are of someone just doing something nice for no fucking reason. Like, I was asking this family and they're like, they had a big camera in their hand and they're like, no, we're just going to take it with this one. I'm like, I know, but I want to give you a photo. I'm like, do you want me to give you a photo? And they're like, is this what you do for a living? I'm like, no. Like, I'm like, y'all are really cute and you can have this moment and I'll hand it to you. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I gave it to them. They were like really happy. But I was like, it's crazy how like standoffish people are about like just the tiniest act of kindness. It's crazy. Like, all of these people I think needed this moment because it was like, it was bumming me out because I'm like, I'm not trying to fucking scare you. I'm literally by myself with my dog. Like, what do you think I'm trying to do?
Well, you never know.
I know, but that's about it. That takes us to now. Now I'm in Oakhurst, Wait, what did I say?
Oakhurst, Pennsylvania.
No,
You've lost it. You lost the script.
I know. Listen, 11 days in my car. Today, the Yosemite day. Okay, this is my day today. I left Tonopah at 10:30 in the morning. I drove through the entirety of fucking Yosemite in one day. I got back here. I just recorded a podcast with Robin for Coffee and Cauldrons, and then I immediately hung up with Robin, and now I'm recording with you. Like, what?
I know.
What is my life, bro? How am I awake? And I'm starving.
I mowed my lawn. I did an interview with Steve Berg, and now I'm doing a podcast with you.
So busy. But anyway, I was telling you before this, right? Okay, that was the other mistake I made here. These are my travel tips for you guys today.
Wait a second.
What?
Jessica's travel tips. Bing. Number 1.
That does need a song. Number 1, don't drive out to that grave. It's really sketchy and you'll probably die. And it takes a lot of time and you like a whole like crevasse will fucking swallow your car. 2, Yosemite, don't waste your time. Just go to Yosemite and don't go anywhere else. 3, here's the other hot tip that I found out today because I was miserable all day. If you leave Tonopah, Nevada, and you're driving to Yosemite, there is not one fucking thing until you get right outside of Yosemite. There's not a gas station. There's not a food. There's not a market. There's not anything. There's nothing. We drove for 3 hours and there was a nothing. And I finally, right outside of Yosemite, there was it said mobile restaurant. I'm like, this sounds terrible. Who wants to eat in there? But you go in and it was so nice and they had a gift shop and I bought you something tiny. Surprise. It's very cute. I bought you something tiny in there and there was food in there, like a diner, like a functioning diner. And they had vegetarian chili with a side of cornbread and it was like homemade and it's like the best fucking chili I've ever had from Mobile gas station restaurant. And then I got a kid's chicken and fries for the dog, and the chicken was crazy. It looked like homemade ass fucking chicken tenders. So anyway, so the chili was so fucking big earlier that I didn't eat it all. So right after we're done with this, I'm gonna eat all of it
Very good.
because I'm starving. But anyway, so yeah, that was my tip. If y'all leave Tonopah, Nevada, please fucking eat before you leave and get a beverage, because I was like, ooh, I was literally dying. All I want to do when we get to LA is eat. We have to eat everywhere. I want to eat all the vegan food. I'm going to eat so much fucking food.
I got to try and find and see if the Indian restaurant that I ate at last time I was there is still there. Hopefully it is, but probably not because that was many years ago.
You never know.
Restaurants flip so fast.
True. Yeah. Oh, and then one last thing, not about my trip, but I want to do a few shout outs. Shout out Chris McKenna. He knows why.
Chris.
He ruled. Fucking Chris is a travel lord. Chris is the only person who travels more than me, and I'm not even kidding. He's on a trip right now.
He is nonstop travel lord.
I know. I'm Chris in training. I will be Chris one day, hopefully.
He goes to places I'm like, where were you at? And he'll say something that sounds just like Bliff Blana Black. And I'm like, where is that? And he's like, it's right near Hafsa. And I'm like, I have no idea what any of these words are.
I know I was telling him about a little bit of my trip so far, and he said, oh, blah, blah, blah. I had a situation like that happen to me in Romania. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
I know. So anyway, shout out to Chris McKenna. Second shout out to Christopher Borgman. He knows why too.
Borgman.
He's our trip VIP. And shout out to Mike Archer for being wonderful and being a pate. And also he's going through some health stuff. So I just want to say, feel better, Mike Archer. You got this. And we're here for you.
Always.
Always. And obviously shout out to all of our fucking Patreons are the shit. Everybody's so fucking nice. I love our pates. And I'm going to have the craziest, longest travel vid for our Patreons once I get home. Obviously, up until now-ish in the video, it'll be just me, but you're joining me in 2 days. So the whole rest of the video will have me, you, and Toad.
Sometimes I wish that Patreon was called like Friendstreon, so I could just say my friends, because that's what I mean.
I know, that's all of our pates are so, like, I talk to all of them all the time. I do. I feel like I know everybody. I talk to everybody. They send me pet pics. They send me videos. It's cute. Everybody's so cute and nice. That's it. That was a lot in a week though, right?
That's a lot.
I know. I forget what I was telling earlier, but I said, listen, I honestly feel, I think I was telling Robin right before this actually, I feel so little pressure for the rest of the trip with you. Like, I don't give a fuck if we do one thing in California, and I don't give a fuck if we do one thing on the way home, because I've already done so much that it's like, I don't feel like I have to squeeze in a bunch of shit for the rest of the trip. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. That's why I'm coming in for this end part.
Yeah, we just doing nothing together like we always do.
That's my plan.
We're just gonna go to Olive Garden in every state and then go home.
It's been my plan all along.
The long distance boring friend time. We do have some good stops planned. Listen, can I tell you something that is so depressing to think about right now?
Oh no.
As exhausted as I am. Okay, I mapped from LA. We don't even have that many planned stops for our way home, but they're all pretty much in one line. And I mapped from LA to our stop.
Pretty much in one line.
They are pretty much. It's like a little bit down diagonal and then up diagonal. But anyway, with our stops that I know about right now and LA to home, it's fucking 42 hours.
I know.
That makes me want to die.
I know. You can't think about it in that way, though.
No, I know. We're definitely not doing that many hours a fucking day. There's only so many days. That's why it took me so long to get here, is I try and keep it to 6 hours of travel a day. But when you add in the stops and the getting out, it's like 9 hours in the car a day. And I can't do more than that or I'll die.
Yeah, but it'll help me too, because I'm like, move it along. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. But I can't drive 10 hours a day.
I mean at the stops.
No, I know. I'm good at stops too. Whatever. It'll be fine. I feel like the last maybe day or two I can do a lot of hours a day because it'll be through states I've already seen before.
Yeah.
But
all right, wrap it up. I gotta edit this before I leave.
I'm done. I'm done.
Eat your chili, get some sleep.
I gotta put on Friends. I haven't even turned on the TV in this room because I recorded with Robin and now I'm on with you. I haven't even had no cozy time at all.
We'll get some cozy time.
Okay, I'm gonna.
All right, buddy. I'll see you in a few days.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Okay, good.
All right. Give Toad a little pat for me.
I will. He just looked up. You hear that?
Jonathan, he hears me. He knows me.
He does. Oh, I listened to our newest episode of the podcast from last week, and you said hi to him on there, and I listened to it while I was driving, and he looked up. He heard you in the car.
Very smart boy.
He's a smart boy. All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, dummy.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you in a couple days.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. bye. Okay, bye.